When I think about career agility, I think of 3 or 4 areas that are important. One is being really self-reflective so you can understand your strengths and your weaknesses and your gap areas, and you don't get caught off guard. The second one is a lot of careers derail during times of transition. So how can we be smart in the way we go through a transition, like a promotion or a lateral move? The third area is thinking several steps out ahead when you think about your career. It's not just what your next move is, but what is your move maybe 2 moves from now, and setting yourself up effectively. And then the last area is, I did some research looking at high performers, and there are 3 or 4 things they consistently do well that makes them have strong career agility. It's really important, first and foremost, to be self-reflective, to have a strong self-understanding. I think of 4 areas. The first one is your skills. Where are you strong, where are you weak, and where do you have gaps? And you want to close those gaps, obviously. The second one is experiential knowledge. Do you understand the industry that you're operating in and the competition and the environment surrounding your company, the regulatory environment, the legal areas that you could be at risk, the societal changes that are going to affect your business, things like that. The third area is your personality traits. I say to people, what about you could actually hurt you? What personality traits, if you're not aware of them, could actually hurt your career progress? For example, one of the biggest reasons people derail is actually defensiveness. They let their ego get in their way and they aren't open to learning because they're defensive and they're protecting themselves. So it could be anything, but do you have a good understanding of not only the personality traits that make you succeed, but what are the personality traits that might hold you back that you have to just self-monitor? And then the last area that's very important that I actually don't hear a lot of companies counsel their employees about is motives. What's the best context for you to operate in? Should you be in a big company? Should you be in a high growth company? Should you be in a startup that's just funded? Where do you play the best given your personality and your skills? A second area that is important when we think about career agility is transitions. So many of us go through transitions almost on an annual basis. You have a new job, you get promoted, you get transferred. How do you make for a strong transition into a new position? These transitions are really important, and it's an area a lot of times that people struggle in their careers, that first year in a new job. I regularly poll students and people at our executive education program about this, and I would say 10 to 15% say they really understand the requirements of their new position when they get promoted or get transferred into a job. So it's really important to do at least 2 things well. One is align with your new boss over the requirements. Ask, what will I have done well in 3 to 4 years to make you happy you brought me in to this position? Understand the goals and objectives of the position and understand the key performance indicators so you'll know what success looks like tangibly. The second thing is talk to people who've been there before, people who have gotten promoted into a job similar to yours, and ask them, where did you find it difficult? Who are some key stakeholders you need to align with? What departments are really critical for you to understand and get on board? So these transitions are really important, and it's a place where people run into trouble. A third area that I think is really important when we talk about career agility is thinking out ahead. Given the rate of change we're seeing with artificial intelligence and Internet of Things and SaaS-based software, there's so many areas where technology is disrupting our jobs. So what you may be doing next might not be what you thought you were going to do based on the disruption that's going on in the industry. We've got to be thinking out ahead, several moves, to make sure that we're going to be relevant and we have career agility 5 or 6 years from now. The last thing that I'd like to talk about is what can we learn from high potential high performers who have tremendous career agility? I looked at research from thousands of 360 feedback forms, and the people that are in the top 10% of their companies consistently did 3 things well. They are constantly in discovery mode. They're networking, they're questioning, they have great observational skills, they're always experimenting, and they're associating. They're trying to see the pattern between one thing and another. Secondly, they're very reflective and thoughtful about their careers. What's going well in my career? What could I be doing differently? Where do I want to take my career? The second thing they do beyond having this strong learning orientation is they do a really good job enlisting others. They seek to understand before being understood. They establish really strong bonds with others, and so they're very effective in their jobs. And they have great references in their careers because people enjoy working with them. And the last thing they do really well is they are resilient. They are persistent. They have drive. They can take a punch and get back up. And they don't see a setback as a failure. They see it as a learning opportunity.